stream up again here, because I have no idea where this is even going at this point. All right, there we go. I think we're back up now. Yes, okay, so that's back up. And now, if I go over to my Unifi network, we're gonna pick this up from where in which we left off. So the good news is my upstairs network, Roger P wants to know, is this worth it for the home user? No. No. All right, good. So everyone can see everything again. All right, so now if we go back to my control panel here, we can see that we can adopt this again. So I'm going to click Adopt and Adopt. That's all you're supposed to do is this. So now that's going to start blinking blue. And this should come up now. But we shall see. The good news is everything is working again. So I think the reset the controller thing is probably what we needed to do here. And bear with me, folks. I am trying to get my chat thing back up. There we go. Live part 2 on. There we go. Okay. We are back. Thank you all for sticking with me. And you know, this is how my how my streams usually go. They're a total disaster. And what it is they are unrehearsed. And what I like to do is when I get something new in like this, I like to set it up live so you can see what it's like. So there you go. Okay, so now my U6 Enterprise has been adopted. I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi on my MacBook here. And let's see if it starts working. And I'm going to turn off, yeah, it's still not connecting to it. I'm going to turn off the global settings. And you know what I'm going to do? What I did before, I'm going to leave the, all right, so now, we're going to reconfigure this thing. So I just reconfigured everything so I can kind of manage this one on its own. And now it says getting ready. Roger P in the chat asks, do I think other access points is good like Netgear? Yeah, Netgear is good. Like these are really more like mid-sized business enterprise devices. Why I like them is because, and I think for power users, I'm somebody who likes to have a lot of control over my network, and I like the Unifi stuff when it works, except when it doesn't. And that's kind of what's happening here. Yeah, at least we made it back. So the good news is at the moment my system is not corrupted like it has been in the past. So we are back. So now, and it looks like we're good there. The problem I'm having here is that my MacBook keeps connecting to, it will not connect to this access point for whatever reason. It's connecting to the one upstairs. So you know what I'm going to do is we're going to take out this computer here. And let me get the camera positioned properly here. So this is something you're all going to see on the channel in a couple of days. This is my new, and I wonder, Red Techie, I wonder if this is related to the issue you mentioned with your Mac. Because my Mac will not see this access point. It is only connecting to the one that is on the other side of the house right now. But what I'm going to do here is connect to this Lenovo computer. So this Lenovo is a Wi-Fi 6E device. So we should see the performance. So let's go in now and see what is connected here. So I'm going to go over to my client devices. And what I might do on the Mac is I may forget the whole network and reconnect. And it might just be that it's connecting to that one because it knows its MAC address. I don't know. All right, so let's go into my device list here, and let's go to, so it's funny, my iPhone, my Apple Watch, and this Windows computer is connected. And let me click on that. Huh. Well, interestingly enough here, check this out. So this is the laptop that we just connected. And it's not connecting at 6E, it is connecting on 5 gigahertz. But this is a 6E laptop. So what I might do is have it forget the network. And we're going to connect from scratch and see if this might work differently here. So I'm going to connect up and see what we get here. And it wasn't getting a very strong connection. And it could just be that how I have this thing positioned kind of flat right now might be the issue. I don't know. But let me refresh this and let's see what we get here. Yeah, so these all have the same SSID. I may change the SSID on this just to kind of rule that out as an issue. So maybe I'll rename that and create a new wireless network and have it only apply to that access point. That might be what I do next. All right, so if we go back to the U6 Enterprise and go to our, so now I've got a good connection here. But it's still only Wi-Fi 6 and not 6E. But for the heck of it, let's just go and download the speedtest.net app. And I'm going to use that versus an iperf just because it's easier right now to make that work. And I've got enough bandwidth with my internet provider that I can easily push a gigabit or more downstream at this point in time. So let me grab that app. What I'd rather be doing right now is watching The Mandalorian. But I got to wait till tonight for that. All right, so let's download the speed test app and see what happens. But right now, I am not connected at 6E. I'm getting weird. Now, it is reporting here, just to give you some more detail. But we still are only at 5 gigahertz, not 6. But we are showing a transmit rate of 1.44 gigabits per second. So that indicates that we are potentially here going to have some good performance, but let's see what happens. All right, so let's hit go. And I may just relocate this to the other side of the room. All right, so that's the downstream, and we're getting about what I usually get, 600 and change. 700, there it goes, now it's cooking, 800. So 879 down, and up we're about 600-ish. And that's, you know, about typical for my Wi-Fi 6 access point that I have right now. So that's a starting point. Now, Jay Palema says you need to connect from scratch, at least in Windows. Yeah, I got to figure out how we unlock the Wi-Fi 6E, because I know this laptop has 6E on board. So we need to play around with this a little bit more. Yeah, so I have, 6E must be WPA3. Okay, so maybe, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a whole new Wi-Fi network, because I'm not going to mess up my wife upstairs, because she's going to not be happy with me. All right, so why don't we, I'm going to show you what I'm working on here. So let's go into our network configuration. I got to find my wireless settings here, Wi-Fi. So I'm going to create here, what is this? Oh, I see. So I'm going to create a new Wi-Fi network. I'm going to call this and I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I'm making up a new network. And I'm going to have this Wi-Fi network only assign itself to the enterprise one. Can I do that? I must select one. Okay, so let me create a new group. You know, I'll apply to all of them. What the heck? Create a new group. Can I just have one be? Okay, I can just have one in there. So let's do that. And we're going to call this group name. I'm going to call this the 6E group. And so I'm going to put it just on this one. And I'm going to go a step further here. Now I could force it to 6, which I might do in a minute, but let's see what happens here. So we're going to enable all these things. I'm just going to leave everything else like just blank. Okay, so WPA3 only. And let's add the Wi-Fi network. WPA3 is cross connectivity is a certain Wi-Fi devices. Oh, I bet you that's why this one. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, so now I've got a new access group set up. So I should see now a 6E group show up on my list of networks. So let's see what happens there. Okay, so we're going to create a whole 6E network. And this apparently creates problems for Apple devices, which is probably why my Mac... So now, like, the whole point in buying this thing was so I could have a flexible thing here. And now it looks like I don't have that. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So I should now, once this thing comes back up, I don't see it yet. I should have a new network called 6E. That will allow us to unlock the potential of this thing. So this is going to be, I think, a little more of an involved review video when I make it, because I'm still kind of wrapping my head around this, right? So yeah, so Steve is saying that you need to kind of separate it out. So I guess the question is it feasible then that this won't, I mean, this may not even work for me if that's how it's going to work. All right, so let me connect to this now. So now we're going to connect to this new 6E network that I created. All right. And I got a notice saying that we are, you know, safer. Okay. So let me see now what we've got for a client here. Aha, that did it. So check it out, everybody. So here is our new connection rate of 2.4 gigabits per second at 6 gigahertz. So let's repeat the test. And then we'll see if we can get my MacBook connected to it. Oh boy. Yeah, there you go. That ain't so good. Really? What the heck is this? I think I know what this is, actually, so we'll come back to this in a second. Wow. So that was 19.81. And it just dropped. All right, so what is going on here? And now it is reporting that it is isolated, whatever that means. So check this out, everybody. Now it says it's isolated. Adoption failed. This is exactly what we had happen last time. Wonder if I got a bad one. So what does that mean? It's like, it's exactly where we were last time. Now, it could be this power adapter isn't good, right? I mean, that's the only thing that's non-stock here is the power adapter. And it started right when we connected this thing to it. But it just dropped out. So I'm going to reboot that again. Yeah, see that? And then it just drops out. Yep. So this is... All right, so now... This is weird. So what's happened here is we're back... Okay, now it's back up. But it's connecting through the Wi-Fi upstairs and not through the Ethernet. So this thing is so effed up. All right, so what does this mean? Here, check this out. So now, here, check this out. So now, it's exactly the same problem we had last time. So the enterprise is back up, but as you can see, it's connecting through my gaming room wirelessly. So the entire Ethernet, because this is not working. And the issue here is that I didn't want to spend the money to get one of their switches because it's going to cost me a fortune to get this thing working where I could go with another option for less money. So what I'm going to try next, though, is, okay, so that worked. Weird. So check it out. So I bet you it doesn't like the switch that it's plugged into, because now it's back up. Everything's back up. So now this is back up, although we're not on. So it could be the PoE injector. Yeah, we are up to date on the firmware. So what I did in there is I pulled out the cable and plugged it back in again. All right, so now we're back up. I bet you, when I run this test again, it's going to overload. Ready? So it's going to hit that 20 megabits per second and crap out. Oh. All right, that looks like it's going a little better. But see, this is not giving me a lot of confidence that it's going to be reliable. But we hit the 1 gigabit mark there, everybody. 1.2 gigabits, 1.3 gigabits, 1.4. Look at that here. Oops. That's Wi-Fi. But how long is it going to work for before it knocks everything offline again? So let's try this again. So my gut on this is that the PoE injector does not like what I'm using here. And to test this, what I'm going to do is connect this directly to my PoE Unifi switch. So that's what it's supposed to be doing. But the fact that we had this happen where everything got dropped twice in the same exact way, and it killed my connection each time to you on YouTube, right? Something's fishy. But yeah, this is PoE Plus on this one. It is, though, a 30-watt PoE Plus. So I wonder if I need a more powerful one. So the injector that I'm using, so I bought this one with this thing that I picked up. So this is what I've got here. This is an Ingenious PoE adapter. And I've had good luck with their stuff over the years. So I bought this one. And if you're on Amazon, you'll see it on the list there. Hang on, my Wi-Fi just dropped on my phone here. I'm back up here. Okay. Yeah, the Wi-Fi in this house is now totally messed up, by the way. But this is what I'm using here. And I should, yes, I can check the power draw. So why don't we do that real quick? Because right now it looks like everything's going south again. Hang on, let me go back to my list of equipment. All right, so Wi-Fi, we're in, oh, I know why it's not working, because my phone can't reach the Wi-Fi access point upstairs, maybe? I'm going to get into so much trouble with my wife. I hope she's leaving soon. Yeah, because right now my regular Wi-Fi doesn't have a connection at all. I don't know why that is. I'm so dead. She's going to be so mad at me. Let me connect. Oh, now we got a connection again. Let me connect up with this one, though. All right, so now, I really didn't want to have a separate thing, but it may go in that direction. Okay, let's turn to the live. I'm just trying to get my Amazon chat back up. All right, so let's check the power draw. Oh, you know what? I can't check the power draw because it's not hooked up to the Unifi switch, and this thing doesn't have any way to check the draw. I could unplug it and plug in my kilowatt. That might be the way to go. Somebody said, though, it's like 22 watts max, so I don't think it's drawing all the way through. Let me see if my wife is having trouble upstairs. All right, so let's try let's do another run here. This is a Lenovo ThinkPad Z16. And it's kind of a neat machine. It's a 16-inch ThinkPad. Yeah, so that test was not as good. I mean, it's still north of a gigabit. So it seems to be stabilized here. I just don't know when this is going to break again. And maybe it's as simple as just unplugging that cord and plugging it back in. I don't know. I'm going to be relocating this to another part of the house. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I might do that. The problem with doing it that way, though, Russell, is that I'm not going to get the full performance out of it. All right, so Red Techie says, U6 Enterprise, it should be used with the network app version 7.1.66 and later. Yeah, so I have the regular UDM Pro. So where do I find the version of the network app that I'm on? Is it in the settings here? Let's see. I got to go back to the beginning of the screen here, I guess. All right, so network. I am on. No, my wife said she thought it was her and she rebooted. I guess it's working for her. So I am on 7.2.97. So I think that should be okay, right? Yeah, so, well, what it is, there's something else going on because every time I hooked this thing up, it was dropping everybody. But it was weird because things were dropping even though they had no relation to it. So let's see. It seems like it's working now. But let me go over. See, the problem, Russell, is that I'm not going to be using this with that PoE switch, only with the injector. So let me go back over to my Wi-Fi here. Now I'm going to try to, okay, so this has 4 in there. Okay, so theoretically, my phone So right now my phone is connected to that thing. Now this is going to be a good test because my phone is an iPhone that does not have support for 6E, but it does support 6. And 6E is very different than 6 regular, because 6 regular is 5 gigahertz, 6E is... So let's try the test on the phone. And so here we're getting about what I usually get on my other access point. So that's 700 and change. So that's about what I usually get. So I would have no advantage down here for what I usually hook up to it. But you can see what the 6 gigahertz gets you. So the next question is, if I connect to my other AP, this is the regular 5 gigahertz network, what happens? Because this thing, even though it's on that, it's not advertising. There it is. Let's try it. Okay, so now I'm connected to that. And now I've got a signal there. Okay, so now I am connected. This is very interesting. So if I go back to this and go to, so now it seems like it's stable. It's weird. It was, it's funny, pulling that cord out and plugging it back in seems to have resolved everything. And everything's stable. So now if I go back to the enterprise access point, and I go to my phone, yeah, so I'm connected 2 by 2 on Wi-Fi 6 on the other AP. And so let's run the speed test again. Now this time, same access point, but on the older WPA2. So I'm getting about the same speeds now. But that's about what I was getting last time, about 700-800 down. And this is regular Wi-Fi 6. Also of note, I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a lot of interference. So it seems like it's doing okay here. So let's run it again. Now this one, again, is connected Wi-Fi 6E. And let's confirm that. That was weird, though, that just the act. I wonder if maybe there was some dirt in that port that was erroring out. Because I've seen that. I had some weird stuff happen a couple of years ago when they were doing the construction work down here to refinish the basement. Some wood dust got into one of my network switches, and it was doing some weird stuff that impacted the whole network, like some errors that were coming in. So yes, I have flow control enabled. That was another battle that I fought. Oh my gosh. And then a few weeks ago, the flow control stopped working and everything was all out of whack. I had no idea what the heck was going on. And then I just did a reboot and that just fixed it all. So, but yeah, we are on a 2.5 gig network. We have the 160 gigahertz, 160 width on that. And you think channel 3, well, that's a good question. Let's take a look and see what channel that one is on. So, oh, it's even got a transmit power. You know what I'm going to do here? Here, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Because this is the only Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz radio I have in the house. So let's just crank that sucker up. What the heck? That may be bad. I don't know. We'll find out. Now, I don't see a channel option here. There's channel width, but there's only, to set up channel manually, please exclude this from nightly channel optimization. All right, so turn that off. And I don't mind the 5 gigahertz stuff done. I want this to be my super high-speed channel. So you told me channel 3, but I don't have a channel 3. I've got 37, 53, 69, 85, 105, and 101, and 117. Which one should I choose? I could test them all, I guess, right? But Let's just do 69, dude. So let me know what that might do. Yeah, I should not have a conflict here. This is my only 6 gigahertz one, and I'm in the basement. But yeah, that's what I had to do that also, was flow control was a big problem. And actually what happened with flow control is that was how I got the most out of my 2.5 gig switches, was enabling flow control. So that was it. Yeah, we had some weird stuff going on here, Michael, and I think we figured it out. So right now I'm just trying to tweak a few settings to see what happens here. All right, so let me apply that. I just want to make sure that flow control is on here. See, flow control is now in a different spot. They keep moving settings around too, which makes it difficult. So let me apply this. And I would love to get some channel recommendations. Yes, we're all hardwired backhaul. Yep. There's a giant hole in my phone screen? I don't think so. Might just be a piece of dust or something. Now I'm aware of that. Now we just wanted to get this set up initially. I'll get iperf going next. All right, so let's take a look after I apply these settings. I'm just manually setting a channel. I don't know if that's going to make a difference at all. Because like I said, I have nothing else that is 6 gigahertz down here. So, but it was weird because it was taking out the whole network when that happened. And I think what was occurring was that some error was happening, perhaps as a result of just a dirty port. I've seen that before, like dirty ports can really cause issues. All right, so let's take a look here, and then we'll get iperf going. I've got I can run iperf on my Mac in the other side of the room, and that Mac is on a 10 gig network. So let me get that going real quick. Oops. Ooh. So we can see what kind of the maximum is on this. And I got to remember where I put iperf. Give me 1 second here, folks. And what I'm going to do here is where did my iperf go? I'll just re-download it. I'm pretty sure I had iperf on this machine because I was using it not that long ago. But I'll just re-download it. I'm just going to grab the Mac version real quick, and then we'll download the Windows one and see how it does. But I think we're kind of stable now, so I'm going to run with it and just see how we do. So I'm just going to drop this in my applications folder. Jeez. One more second here, folks. Apple security is doing what it's supposed to do. All right, so we're going to allow. All right. Jeez, open. Okay. So now we're going to grab iperf off of the iperf website. And this, by the way, is a, uh-oh. Did I lose my connection again? No. This is a ThinkPad Z16 that we're playing with here. Well, it came up pretty quick and then it died on me. What's going on here? Yeah, I think we still have some gremlins to work out here. So that search happened super quick. Yeah, it looks like it just lost our, yeah, it dropped us again. So what is happening now? Yeah, we got dropped off of that access point. But it's still on my list of equipment, so I don't think, I'm not sure what caused that. I'm not sure what caused that, but we'll find out. So we'll grab iperf. Now, iperf is a neat utility if you haven't played with it before. I'm just going to throw this in my downloads folder. And I'm going to rename the folder here. And what I'm going to do is jump into my terminal window. And we're going to just go and hit that up real quick. So right now I have iperf running on the Mac. Oh, geez. All right, there we go. So we're going to just do a quick iperf3/C192.168.2.69. And what this will do is this should send some data over to the Mac via iperf. And let's see what kind of bandwidth we see on the local network. So not what I'm expecting here, but this also is something we got to tweak with settings too. So yeah, I'm with Anthony here. Sometimes it's good to just get things to work correctly the first time and not have to futz around with them. That's why I do what I do, because I think reverse is /R, right? Nope. Try it again here. Yeah, it's odd. So this is from the Mac to us. We're about half a gigabit at 500 megabits per second. iperf commands. Let's see what the commands are here. I forgot what the reverse command is. Oh, it's okay. So it's -R with a capital letter. And so this is the other direction. And it's not working in that direction. Maybe it's just no, let's see, where's the -C? Yeah, so -C puts it into client mode. Yeah, I had it formatted properly here. And now it's not able to connect. So let's go back. I know people drive them crazy when I use the internet test, but you know what? It's a good indicator here. So let's try the speed test again. Yeah, it's just kind of all over the place performance-wise. So now we're getting about what we got on the local network on the downstream. And I'm pretty sure I'm still connected to it because we're hitting, yeah, there we go. Now we're hitting our gigabit there. So what's the deal with the Mac in the other side of the room? So the Mac is on a 10 gig connection. R before C. Okay, let's try that. So we'll do -R, -C. There we go. Yeah, so oddly, we're getting better speeds on the local network, sorry, on the internet than we are in the local network. So there's got to be another setting here that I'm not thinking about. Let me see what, here, let me put this in server mode and let's see what we get from the Mac to here. And let's see, what's my IP address? I may change the channel back to like a, the auto, because I think I'm not doing as well as I was before. And this is 2.191. So let me try it from the other direction here. All right, so now I'm getting, yeah, about the same from the Mac to there. So let me do the reverse and see. So it's about 500-600 there. Yeah, it's almost identical when I do it from here. So now there was another setting. Yeah, let me put the settings back where I found them there, and let's see what we get when I redo things here. We're getting there. The good news is that it's stable, and that's not what it was before. So that to me is improvement. So I'm going to put transmit power back to auto and channel. I'm going to leave on the nightly optimization. And let's apply that real quick and see what we get. And I'll turn off the wireless meshing in a minute too. I don't know, would that make a difference here though? Because we are wired, so that shouldn't slow us down right now, right? I mean, one good thing is that if we won't mesh, it'll just stop working. By the way, we got a lot of new followers on Amazon. So we've got Anna Delgado, Classic Reviewer, Jesse Ibarra, Dylan Harville, and Roy Ellis. Thank you all for the follow as we troubleshoot our way through some new equipment here. And this is like, you know, a big change, I think, going from 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi to 6 gigahertz. So we're learning here as we go. All right, looks like we are back up, and my computer is still connected. And I'm going to experiment. I'm going to actually hook this thing upstairs where I intend to keep it and see what we get there. What I will say is that if you don't have a 6E equipped computer, there's not much benefit, or really, because it's not 6E. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so now, yeah, isn't it weird that on the local network, I'm not getting as much performance. Oh, hang on a second. My AC light is down again, but that was something we saw before. Okay, we're back up. Now the Mac is on a 10 gig connection, so we should see better performance than what we're getting here. Now there was some setting on iperf that I had to do once when I was working on my Mocha stuff. And I got to remember what that was that I did. It basically created a multiple connection thing. Hang on, let me see if I can remember what that was. because we should be seeing better performance out of this because it is on the local network. We should, you know, I mean, if the internet is going at the speed that we're seeing, we're getting gigabit on the internet, but not locally. So what's up with that? So back when I was reviewing these Mocha adapters, there was a setting in iperf that I had to do that I remember having to set, and I can't remember what it was that I did. It was like almost a multi-threaded thing. Here's the, yeah, no, they will not see a difference. My wife will have no idea. So my goal with this was to have a faster upload point in my upstairs. So I didn't have to run Ethernet for my uploads. But for the most part, I don't think they would notice any difference at all. Oh, okay, so I'm going to try that out. Let's turn that off. There's no need to have it on, really, because I am not intending on meshing it. So I'll turn off mesh, and let me apply the changes here again. And we'll reset the access point. So that's it. Thank you, Red Techie. That's why I enjoy you. You know all the commands that I forget. So /p, what does that do? That's like /p100. All right, so let's take a look and see when we do that. Bump, 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 bump. Unable to connect to server. Oh, you know why? Because it dropped us again, because we reset the thing. So I'm going to have, it concerns me, though, that this is not connecting when it's on my other network, and that's going to be a whole other problem I got to deal with. But in the interim, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this into position tonight, and we'll see how many complaints I get from the wife and kids. And that will determine what we do next. Okay, so we're back on that one. Unable to connect the server. Hang on. Let me just make sure I can connect it all. All right, so connected that way. So maybe it's put that first before the -C, right? So let's go /p100/C. There we go. Whoa. Well, that's right. That's when it does like, so I think I have to wait for it to finish, then we'll get the full iperf done. Doesn't it give you like a total? Maybe it's on the other computer. Sum. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. 1.63 gigabits per second. That's the max it looks like. So let's run that again. Thank you, Anthony. P before C. Got it. So let's run this again. So let's see what we get on this run. Whoa, that can't be right. 2.6. All right, 1.73 gigabits per second. Does that seem right to you, Red Techie? That seems pretty high. Yeah, so we have 6 gigabits upstream and downstream here. So although we are critical of Comcast when we need to be, I have no complaints about the strength of their network. Which, by the way, if they focused on that, I think people would be very happy with their service. So this is Wi-Fi here. Look at that. Now I think we got this sucker dialed in. Look at that. 1.6 downstream. Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. It looks like it just all needed to settle on down. But that's what we're getting on the internet. And what we saw on the iperf is pretty close to that, 1.7 gigabits per second. So let's run this one in the opposite direction now. So I should be able to do /p100/-r And now this is going to reverse the test that we did a minute ago. So this is going to send data from the Mac to here, whereas before I think we were going in the other direction. Well, here's the funny thing, Chris Allegretta. I'm going to do a video about this because what has happened in my area over the last 10 months is a lot of change. So Frontier essentially got bailed out during the COVID thing, and they've been running fiber everywhere, like super aggressively. Now, when they started rolling it out, it was, the max you could get was, I think, a 2 gig symmetrical, but now they're offering, Red Techie, correct me, 5 gigabits? I think they just announced a 5 gigabit symmetrical service on Frontier. So we have that now. It's right, I have it outside my door if I wanted it. I have my Comcast stuff. That's 2. And then there's another one, Go Net Speed, is coming into the neighboring towns that are next to me. So they're eventually going to start working their way around the community also. So that's like a smaller ISP. So there's some people in my area went from having no choice to 3. And that does not include now the Verizon wireless. So in some parts of town, not where I live, but in some parts of town, they're getting they have ultra wideband at 1 gigabit per second. So Red Techie at the top of the hill in Essex Village, I was hitting 1 gigabit downstream on ultra wideband. So in some parts of town now, they're going to have 3 or 4 different choices. And then we now have, of course, Starlink on top of that. So we went from nothing to everything. And so what happened with Comcast was this Gigabit Pro service, remember when I got it, was 2 gigabits symmetrical. Then they moved it to 3. And then a few months ago, they went to 6. And I would expect within a few weeks, we're going to see 10. I have no doubt about that. I think the max they can deliver to me, though, is 10 because it's single mode fiber. So Matt, that's a good question, Matt. Let's try that. So let's turn that wireless mesh on. So here you go. We're pushing 1.8 gigabits per second. That's pretty crazy. So why don't we turn on the mesh again and see if that makes any difference in performance. So, but this is my area, so that's not true of every place, right? So I don't know, it's always a patchwork, I think, in how they deliver competitive services. But I do think that there's been some movement. And it's been great for me because if you think about it, I'm paying exactly what I paid 3 years ago when they first hooked this up. So it's 2.5. So in October, it'll be 3 years. And I'm paying the same now as I was back then, but my speed is 3x faster. And Red Techie got his going at the same time I did. All right, so we're going to go back and turn on the meshing on this access point. I'll apply those changes. We'll let it reboot. I'm very happy now. This is working like I thought it would. Now, in fairness, we are super close to where the access point is located. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is relocating it to where I'm going to put it for most of its life. And we'll see how that does. But it looks as though I had a physical obstruction of some kind that was screwing this up. Because now it seems to be rock solid stable. Because we're pushing it now. Like we're really pushing data back and forth through that. Yes, and I think having a voice. So I used to sit on, I've actually reappointed myself. I am on my local Comcast Cable Advisory Council. These are councils that were created by the Department of Public Utility Control here in Connecticut to have a local voice in how things get worked out locally. And you learn a lot about, I learned a lot about how the business of cable works through that. So you get a feel for where they're screwing around, right? And what kills me about all these utilities is that if they just treated customers the right way, we'd be happy to pay them money. Here's what I would use as an example. Now, some of you are going to roll your eyes at this because, you know, it's Apple, but Apple phones cost a lot of money. Samsung phones cost a lot of money. There's a ton of profit built into an Apple iPhone and a Samsung phone. People buy them because they like them. They like the experience of owning one of those phones. They're happy customers, and the value that they get for that product is why they pay so much. They believe it's worth it. That is how they could operate. I pay $300 a month. I pay $300 a month for, more than that actually, for this connection. And I am happy to do it because I am very happy with the performance that I get out of it. Again, this is Wi-Fi, but if we were on my, if we were wired in with the Ethernet right now, we'd be getting, you know, six back and forth. And Red Techie, you know what? It's interesting. Your experience is very similar to what we're seeing here, that it's all over the place bandwidth-wise, right? I bet you know what? Let's run. It is a little slower, isn't it? Let's run the iperf now. I just want to make sure I'm connected the right way. But I'm really happy with my connection. I'm so happy with my connection, and I hope they're listening to me, because I'm sure they are, that I am happy to pay for this. I have another option for fiber now. I'm not going to take it because this connection from Comcast is that good. It has been down. I've had this for 2.5 years. The downtime I can count in minutes in 2.5 years. So it is rock solid. It is stable. It has survived storms. It has survived power outages. It's been great. And I'm happy to say, I will say that on my update video. And if everyone's experience with Comcast was like that, I think they would have much happier customers. So it looks like we're seeing, yeah, so if you can't see it, it is 1.05 gigabits. Let me make sure I'm on the right access point. Yeah, we're on the 6E. So I think there is a real performance degradation when that meshing is enabled. So let me turn that back off. And let's reset that now and see what we get when we do it again. Now, I'm just jealous over this one. Pedro has got 10 gigabit asymmetrical. Is that asymmetric? So what's the other speed, or did you mean symmetrical? So I would say that my local utility, my power company is awful. They are the worst in the world. They're so awful. How awful are they? Let me put it this way. We've had a 50% rate increase. Basically, they doubled the generation rate. They say it's not their fault. Fine. But nonetheless, in the middle of this, they announce a $1.4 billion profit. This is Eversource here in Connecticut. A $1.4 billion profit. And then their CEO gets his pay increased × 2. So he got his salary was doubled. While they get the biggest profit they've ever posted, net profit, $1.4 billion, while they doubled rates for every one of their customers. And they think that, like, to talk about tone deaf, that's my public utility. They're awful. So I would much prefer to have a few choices versus that. All right, so we're going to reconnect to, all right, so with meshing enabled, we were at 1.05 gigabits. With it off, let's see what we get here. You know, it's so weird. It's all over the place. We'll see what we get when it's done with its full. Yeah, so it's 1.2. So it was a little better when it was, I'm sorry, no, it was about the same. Huh. You know, I wonder if I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm wondering. But I think Red Techie, who's had this longer than I've had it, says that he sees similar fluctuations in speed. And Meatface is joining us on Amazon and says, put it next to meat and see what you get. Let me do the other direction here. So let's just go the standard thing here. I have found that sometimes the transmission off from the Mac out is a little different, but yeah, here we're getting about a gigabit now. And let's see what we end up with here. Yeah, about 1.02. I wonder if it reset its channel when it rebooted. I should probably mess around with finding the best channel for this, but it's going to depend on where I put it. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that there is a Wi-Fi environment scan that I can run. And does it include 6 gigahertz now? I don't think it does. Now, Jay Palamas is up and nowhere in Maine. Power is dirt cheap, but not the most reliable to being in the woods. So I guess you must benefit from hydro up there in Maine. Is that right? So you know what I'm going to do here? I think I can force a... Oh, you know what I should have been running? Is Wi-Fi Man. How do I force an environment scan on this? Because it looks like it doesn't, I don't know if it supports an environment scan on the 6 gigahertz band or not. So here, let me pull this up here. So let's go pull up my insights. So right now we're 0% utilized, although it doesn't indicate interference here. Oh, we can do this. Scan the environment. You cannot scan the 6 gigahertz environment. That's a bummer. Huh. Yeah, it only lets you scan the 2.4 and the 5, but not the 6. Well, that stinks. Yeah, so we have a weird set of regulation here in Connecticut. So what they did years ago, with, you know, it's always with good intention. They thought it would be better to have a competitive market for generation separate from delivery. So you pay a supplier, and you pay Eversource to deliver the power. The problem is it never worked out the way they thought it was going to work out. And so the net result of that is they all kind of centered on natural gas for the most part. We do have a nuclear plant, which contributes a lot of power to the region, and our power would be far worse if we didn't have that plant right now. But that open marketplace didn't materialize the way that I think they hoped it would. And I think the reason why it didn't is because they all settled in on natural gas as the only method of generation, and at least for the most part around here. So you didn't have a mix of commodities driving the fuel. And I really feel like that contributed. All right, I'm going to switch this to channel 85. And let's see what happens on channel 85. Wait for it to come back up here. And I'm also going to have this forget my old network. And we'll see how this does tonight when I bring this upstairs. So what I'm going to do tonight is kind of put it into position and have it work where I want it to work. And I forget that one. And then we're going to connect only to 6E. Okay. All right, so now I switch channels. And let's see what happens on this new channel. So it might be a little trial and error to get it on the right channel. This seems to be doing, yeah, so now we're back up to 1.69 gigabits per second. And this is on channel now 85. Let's run that again. Jay Palamas says the marketplace had contracts like cell phones with cheaper power. Yeah, so we have that here for the power marketplace. So when they doubled the rates, I switched to another supplier. I hadn't done the supplier thing in a while. So what happened was the supplier market got filled up with a lot of shady actors. And what they were doing was they were giving you a really good rate, but if you didn't switch away before the contract ended, when it did, you got jacked up so high you lost everything you saved. And they had early termination charges. It was very restrictive. So they changed all of it. So at the same time that they changed the marketplace, they, what was the other thing they did? At the same time they changed the marketplace, they made it so that the power company or the state would negotiate a standard offer. And the standard offer ended up being always competitive or lower than what the suppliers were offering. So everybody just went to standard offer again, as did I. I used to jump around all the time. But every time I missed it, like when I missed that guaranteed lock rate ending, I get screwed. So I just gave up. And so now I'm actually on a rate now that is the same or lower than when this rate increase happened. But it looks like I'm doing better here on channel 85, by the way. And there's a lot of dark fiber. In addition to dark fiber that is like mysteriously there, because some of it's owned by like these third-party providers that lease it, there are dark fibers within the Comcast network. So here's a great example. In my house, there are two fibers that I'm using for my internet service. So I have one that sends stuff out and one that receives. But the wire they brought in has two more pairs of wire that are dark. And those wires are spliced in with a cable that runs to the end of the street that I think had 12 pairs. It was pretty, so I think Red Techie is on my wire also. But they have a lot of capacity that they don't necessarily always use. All right, so we're going to run another internet test now off of, I'm on the new channel here. So it does take a little bit longer for it to ramp up. So on my Ethernet, it ramps up like immediately. Here you can see it takes a little bit. But yeah, I think 85 is the sweet spot here at this house. Look at that. That's Wi-Fi. That is Wi-Fi. So that's to the internet, and this is within the house. So 1.64 gigabits internally, and this, yeah, so they activated some of the dark fiber that they installed when they put mine in for him. And so there's more capacity. And then, of course, you have to have fiber coming into the central office so that they could get it out to where they needed to get out to. So Commodore lives next to an old nuclear bomb plant. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, now the other question is, what kind of fiber is it? Because if it's the older multi-mode fiber, that's different than the single-mode fiber that they like to run off of now. So that's where that goes. Yeah, so I think we've got this kind of dialed in. It's stable now. So I'm pleased with that. And my next activity here, this is what I'll cover in the review when I post that, is I'm going to put it where I want to put it and see based on that and a longer distance, because right now I'm maybe 8 feet from it. It's right there. So I want to see what it looks like in kind of a more real world application. But really what I was after here was I wanted a faster upload potential where I would be locating everything. So there you go. So I want to try one other thing. I think there's an iperf client for the iPhone. I think I have it on here actually, but let's take a look. So this iPhone is on the 5 gigahertz band, but on that access point. Oh, I can just use Wi-Fi Man. All right, so let me connect to my UDM Pro. All right, so this is, that's not bad. And that's to my router, essentially. That's on the local network. For whatever reason, this iPhone doesn't transmit as much as it receives, but you get an idea as to how that's working. Let me wait for that to finish up. It shows my IP, which is why I don't want to show you the whole thing here. All right, so let me grab the iperf test and see what we get there. Because what's weird about this is that my iPhone, if I go back to my enterprise list here, it reports, here I'll show you the report that I got. Actually, no, it's showing a symmetric. So before, it was not showing me this transmit and receive rate. So I want to grab an iperf client for the iPhone here. So I've got this iperf client I'm going to download real quick. But you have to do that combined test in order to get the most out of this. And I feel like there is more of a ramping up that has to happen. It's very similar to how the Mocha thing was working when I was testing those out. Oh, you know what? I don't know which one I have inside of this one. That's a good question. That could be contributing too, huh? This one is obviously not 6E. All right, so 192.168.2.69, dude. And it can do 5 streams, so let's do that. Cannot start, connect, rises. Oops, I forgot to put the dot in there. All right, so .69, dude. All right. It cannot connect to the server. Why the heck not? There it goes. All right, so this is, sorry for the blurriness. I could probably give you the overhead view. Isn't that weird? It's all over the place. Let me give you the overhead. It could be that the laptop is interfering with it too, but actually that's not bad. 850 megabits per second on 5 gigahertz. I mean, I'm good with that. So let me reverse it. Upload. Again, this is on the local network. So, of course, we're getting more on the laptop because it has 6E, and this phone does not have 6E. Hey, does the Pixel 6 Pro have 6E? I think it does. Uh-oh, Sam's going for a lactose intolerance test. I hope you do okay with that. It doesn't sound pleasant. How do they test for that? All right. Yeah, I think I would get faster speeds. But you know what, Sam? On the iPhone, I believe that USB port on Lightning is only 5 gigabits. Am I wrong about that, everybody? All right. So now, let me look that up. The Pixel, as I have a Pixel 7, Pixel 7 Pro has, oh, it does have it. Oh, there we go. So let me go find my Pixel 7 Pro phone. What about the 6A? Okay, so oh, it does have it. Wow. Okay, so I got the 6A right here. So let's boot this thing up. In full disclosure, Google sent me the 6A for review. You know, for Android phones, I really like this phone. It's a value-packed little phone. All right, let's take a look here. I'm going to add this to my Amazon product carousel, and we'll load iperf up on that. So let's do that real quick. All right, so let me go add Pixel 6a. You know what else I did with the 6a is I connected it to the space station. Wow, the 6a right now is on sale for $240. Is that right? There's one on Amazon. I just added it to the carousel. There's one on Amazon for $240. Why is that so inexpensive? Is that a refurb? It's got to be a refurb. Let me look at that real quick. All right. Let me get into the phone here. And what we're going to look for is the iperf app. And I'm also going to connect it to my Wi-Fi. You know what's so funny is that all of these devices don't want to connect to that thing right away. But now my iPhone is connected to it. I bet you it's like it looks for... All right. So now I'm on that one. And let's take a look and see if it's connecting at the right speed here. So Pixel 6a. Yep. Here, take a look. Pixel 6a is, oops, it's on. The receive rate, though, is only 24 megabits per, there it goes, okay. So, you know, I had put it down on the ground there, but there you go, it's on 6 gigahertz. So we're connected there. Let me just do the speed test app first, and then we'll do the iperf. All right. Okay, so now we'll hit go on the speed test here. Again, the speedtest.net app. And there we're getting, whoa, oh, it did it. It did it. Gigabit. That thing haul. It is hauling. 1.2, just about. This is the upstream. Upstream is struggling a little bit. But that's not bad. All right, so let me grab a iperf client, and we'll test this a little bit more. Oh, it's a third-party seller. Got it. It must be a refurb. Yeah, I was thinking 240 is, I mean, it is their entry-level phone, but that's pretty inexpensive. I may take that off the carousel if it's not a trusted seller. I just saw that pop up. Let me remove that, because I don't want people buying a phone from an untrusted, let's remove, okay. All right, so now, let's grab a iperf client. You know, it's funny, there's times where, like, I don't know who to trust when we're looking at one of these, because, like, there's a million iperf clients on here, but where's the real one? Grab Wi-Fi Man real quick. So Wi-Fi Man is Ubiquiti's own thing, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's see here. Yeah, there's an Android client. I think the preferred method here is to, okay, there's a couple of them. HENet Network Tools by Hurricane Electric. Hurricane Electric, that's the Florida ISP, right? I think I had them down in Florida. HE.net Network Tools. All right. Is that still available? So there's a couple that they recommend. Magic iperf and HE.net Network Tools. None of which I see on here. Let's try this again, HE.net. I guess I can install it from the browser. And I'm just going to install it from the browser. And we're going to, oh, none of my devices are eligible for this one. Must be an older tool. All right, so that's not going to work. Magic iperf. That's not even available anymore. Huh, So what do you all use on Android for iperf? Yeah, I'm going to do Wi-Fi, man, to just have it connect to the router. Let's do that. I just got to make sure. It shows, what I don't like about it is that it shows my public IP. Oh, it does device. The Android version seems to be a little more robust. All right, so I'm going to connect to the gateway here. All right, so this is the local network test. Not bad, huh? That's on the local networks. That's about what we're seeing on iperf. Ubiquity tools look pretty good. This phone does not upload, though, at a very decent rate comparatively. And I don't think I think it's the phone, because we were seeing some fluctuations on the app. I wonder if my phone needs an update. But there you go. The Aruba app. All right, let me try the Aruba app. Oops. Yeah, every time I use this phone, I like it. You know what I like about this phone is that it is reasonably priced. It performs exceptionally well. And it's not more than you need. So I see a bunch of Aruba apps. Let me do Aruba iperf and see if I can narrow it down here. Aruba utilities, I guess that's what it is, right? Yeah, I grabbed that one. So that one did work. All right. Oh, Aruba's a HP company. I did not know that. iperf 3, here we go. All right, so let me type in my max IP address, 168.2.69. Yeah, so Jay, if you're looking to get a mid-level Android phone, I think this one, Jay is commenting on Amazon. I think this one is the way to go. All right, so we got that. And let's see, settings. This is not a friendly app at all. Oh, I got to actually type out the commands. So we'll go -C. Actually, we're going to do /P-100. So capital P 100. And -C. Not the most intuitive interface here. 168.2.69, dude. Okay, so let's run this real quick and see what we end up with here. All right, so it's running through that same test that we saw before. Bunch of text, so we'll see what the result is here at the end. Yeah, so 1.5 gigabits per second. Not bad. Not bad. So I would say, when did this come out? This came out, what, last summer? July? I would say by next summer you'll see a 7A. They generally do a one-year refresh on these. But that works pretty good. All right. Well, I think I'm good here. I'm going to capture some B-roll, though. Let me just do that real quick. I wanted to get, this is the ideal location test. So let's do some B-roll here of that. And then I'm going to take this laptop upstairs and run it up there, too. So 1.5 gigabits per second in kind of an ideal environment. And let's run this one again for the heck of it, right? So I think 1.5 gigabits per second is going to be the sweet spot on this thing. And it behaves a lot like some of these Mocha things that I've played with, in that it ramps up. You don't get it all right away, which is why you got to run this iperf test with that multiple threaded thing. Because as you can see, it starts slow and then it kind of ramps up. So it doesn't behave the same way Ethernet does. But there you go. Not bad. I'm happy. I wasn't happy when I first set it up, but now I'm happier. And it looks like my iPhone is cooperating also. And yeah, I'm going to definitely check out his video. He does a lot of good work. I think he does it for a living, unlike me. Yeah, everybody's doing the foldables. I would like to see them do a foldable tablet. I would like to see that. But yeah, I'm happy now. This thing is robust. Like from a build quality standpoint, it is quite large and in charge. But yeah, I think we're in good shape. So the good news is it looks like that Ingenious injector is working properly. So that's been good. So yeah, I think we're in good shape there. And what I'm going to do next is run that thing upstairs. I didn't really think this through because none of my Macs that I use day to day have Wi-Fi 6E on board. So I'm not really going to get much out of this other than maximizing my Wi-Fi 6. So, you know, future-proofing, I guess, is really what I'm doing. Or I could just upload videos with my Windows computers and that'll... I guess I could buy an adapter, right? There must be some kind of Thunderbolt or USB adapter for that. I haven't done the other ones. I found for internet speeds, really what this does, because this one is connecting to Comcast in Boston. So really what we're testing here is kind of like what we will get on the Comcast network. But all the peering arrangements, like honestly, even with YouTube, when I upload YouTube videos, I get maybe 500 megabits per second, sometimes 600 or 700, but it's never, I've never seen a gigabit upload to YouTube, ever. And what was fun was when my dad got the Frontier fiber optic, I went over to his house and I uploaded a video from there. And oddly, even though he had 500 megabit service, I was only getting about 500, or about 400 or 500 upstream. So that was it. But yeah, I think we're good. All right, everybody, I'm going to head out for now, but I do appreciate everybody sticking with me and helping me troubleshoot this this whole thing. This was a fun experiment. I think we learned a lot. I know I learned a lot, and hopefully you all got something out of it too. And let me make sure that everything is working here. So yeah, so I think we're in good shape. So yeah, I think we're going to be good. Okay, I'm going to go have a snack, and then I'm going to take the dog out again before it gets dark out. And then I'm going to hook that thing up and do some more testing with it upstairs so that I can be ready to record a video with it tomorrow. So I think I have a pretty clear day tomorrow. I do. So that is the plan. So yeah, I'm in good shape this weekend. I'm actually ahead of the game. So good stuff. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Oh, fast.com connects to Netflix. Let's try it. Let's try it. What the heck? We got a minute or two here. Fast.com. Powered by Netflix. That's not bad. 1.1. That's what I got on fast.com. I don't think it doesn't upload. Oh, it doesn't upload in here. Okay. So the upload is 6 and change. I can't show you this because it shows my IP address, but here I can put my finger over it, I guess. So that is the upload, 880. But that's typical. That's typical. All right, everybody. I will be back. Thank you for sticking with me on this one. This was a fun experiment. And I'm going to put up the goodbye card. And we'll be back with a full review of this, which will be much more concise with less troubleshooting, hopefully. Catch you all next time. Bye-bye.